For more than a century, Harley-Davidson has sold us freedom, brotherhood, pride, and the sound that built a culture. But behind that chrome and glory sits a truth most riders never hear in the showroom. The brand that promised unity started cutting corners, silencing the very people who built its name. We dug through the recalls, the manuals, and the stories riders were never supposed to share, and what we found will change how you see Harley forever. These are 21 dark Harley-Davidson secrets, lessons the marketing forgot, but the road never did. And it all begins with one habit that's been quietly stealing your power for years. Number 21. The rain sock myth. That black nylon cover on the air cleaner looks protective, but the habit steals response, heat management, and the clean burn older tourers respect. Left on in dry weather, the sock dulls roll-on, raises idle heat, and makes a proud motor feel tired. Use it like rain gear. Deploy when clouds threaten, then bag it when the sky is honest. Veterans who ride long know airflow is free power. Choking it on purpose is like riding with half a choke pulled. Keep the ritual practical. Carry the cover, keep the filter clean, and listen for the crisp note that says the engine is breathing right. Small habits separate comfort from fatigue on highway days. Every ride teaches patience disguised as adrenaline. You learn that steel remembers kindness and neglect in equal measure. Roads change, seasons shift, but respect for the machine never fades. Pride runs quieter than exhaust. It's the sound of understanding what endures. The road teaches in whispers long before it punishes in roars. What waits ahead digs even deeper into the hidden truths riders rarely admit aloud. Number 20. Premium fuel, non-negotiable. Every rider who has owned a touring rig knows that fuel quality shapes the ride long before the throttle twists. These engines were built for precision timing, tight compression, and long hauls under weight. Pouring in cheap regular gas feels harmless until the knock sets in, heat climbs, and the power curve flattens. Detonation scars pistons quietly, and the sluggish pull that follows isn't age, it's neglect. Premium fuel isn't luxury, it's maintenance in liquid form, keeping the heart of the bike cool, strong, and loyal. Old-school riders treated octane the way mechanics treat torque specs, non-negotiable. Use the wrong number, and the machine remembers. The few cents saved at the pump become dollars spent chasing performance that once came naturally. Fuel choices define more than performance. They reveal a rider's discipline. Cheap gas burns quick and punishes slow. Every knock beneath the tank reminds you that loyalty isn't to price, it's to longevity. Real riders pay attention to what their engines whisper. Discipline keeps an engine alive where shortcuts never will. The following secret exposes how precision and neglect can live in the same garage. Number 19. Silent security speaks loud. Many riders believe that if their alarm does not scream, their bike is unprotected. The truth is, the quiet systems built into modern touring machines still stand guard every second. They rely on motion and tamper sensors that flash the lights instead of sounding off. Those small bursts of light are warnings meant for sharp eyes, not loud ears. It keeps peace with the neighbors while still turning unwanted hands away. Too many riders ignore those flashes, assuming they mean nothing. In reality, they mean the system is doing its job. When the key fob leaves range, the bike becomes its own sentinel, ready to draw attention without a sound. Silence, in this case, is confidence, not weakness. Real protection is knowing the bike is armed even when the night is still. A motorcycle doesn't need to shout to be alert. Every flicker of a light, every soft click beneath the seat carries a message. Learning to notice the small things separates a rider from an owner, awareness from assumption, respect from routine. Machines speak in signals long before they fail. The story ahead proves how listening to silence can save your ride. If you've ever felt Harley forgot the riders who built its name, hit that like button and drop your thoughts below. Real riders speak up, not stay silent. Let's hear yours. Number 18. Lessons from the kickstand. For many riders, starting the bike with the kickstand down feels like a small convenience. It lets you warm the motor, sip your coffee, and listen to the idle before rolling out. But this habit carries a built-in lesson. The machine allows the start only when the transmission is in neutral. Pull the clutch in while it is in gear and try to start, and the motor will stay silent. That cutoff is not a flaw, it is protection. It prevents a sudden lurch forward that could tip a heavy touring rig or pin a boot under steel. It is Harley engineering quietly looking after you. Older riders who grew up on kick-only bikes remember when every mistake hurt. Now safety is mechanical, not accidental. Some lessons come idling, not roaring. The stand reminds you that safety is quiet, patience measured. Every prevented stumble is proof of foresight. Machines repay mindfulness with grace, and that grace keeps you upright when distractions try to steal control. Every lesson starts with habit and ends with humility. The moment you understand why safety interrupts comfort, the next truth hits harder. Number 17. Accessory mode's quiet trap. Many riders have stood in a parking lot pressing the starter, hearing nothing, and feeling frustration rise. The reason is often simpler than they think. Accessory mode powers the lights, radio, and navigation, but it locks out the starter completely. It is built that way to protect the system from accidental ignition when the bike is parked. The switch position looks familiar, and in bright sunlight, the difference can be missed. A rider might drain the battery listening to music or adjusting settings, then assume the machine has failed. It has not. The problem is the rider, not the bike. Knowing when to turn fully to the on position saves time, battery life, and patience. Accessory mode is a useful tool, but like many features, it rewards awareness and punishes assumption. Daylight failure humbles every man. You realize confidence without comprehension is fragile. Understanding your machine's moods, what each setting means, turns frustration into command. Mastery doesn't come from muscle. It's built from awareness, forged by repetition, tested when comfort fades. Trusting convenience too much can turn pride into panic. What comes after reminds us that awareness is the only real security system. Before we dig deeper, kit up right. Boots, gloves, small upgrades that matter. Links in the description. Let's keep moving. Number 16. The hidden power of the left signal. On most modern touring rigs, that small switch on the left bar does more than signal a lane change. It is a command key that talks to the bike's hidden systems. Used with the right signal and ignition timing, it unlocks the backup start code, activates transport mode, and even resets certain security features. Riders who only use it for turns are missing an entire layer of control. The company designed it for simplicity. One switch, multiple purposes, but it requires patience and awareness. The rhythm of the blinks and clicks becomes language between man and machine, a private handshake for those who study it. Knowing how to navigate menus or input a personal identification number through those signals turns confusion into mastery. It separates the owners who operate from the ones who truly understand. The smallest buttons hold the deepest knowledge. It's the subtle things, the clicks, the flashes, that reveal how deeply you connect with your ride. Skill isn't noise, it's rhythm. The bike obeys best when you know every secret coded into its frame. True control lies in knowing every hidden command. The insight that follows shows how memory and mastery keep you moving when technology falters. Number 15. Backup start, forgotten freedom. Every veteran rider knows that technology can turn against you at the worst time. The small key fob most riders carry feels dependable until its battery dies 100 miles from home. That is when the backup start becomes a lifeline. Hidden behind simple button sequences, it allows the motor to fire using a personal identification number you set yourself. It is a safeguard designed for independence, not convenience. Too many owners never test it, assuming the fob will always work. But real freedom comes from knowing the machine answers to you, not to a piece of plastic. Practice entering the code until it feels natural, the same way you once practiced throttle and clutch. Confidence on the road starts with confidence in your own hands. Nothing tests freedom like a dead key fob in the rain. Prepared riders never curse luck. They rely on memory, not batteries. That confidence, earned from repetition, transforms panic into patience and keeps every road open, even when modern tools fail. Preparation isn't fear, it's respect for what the road can take from you. The next truth proves that power belongs to the rider who plans, not the one who prays. Number 14. Change your code, protect your ride. Every rider who sets a personal identification number for backup start feels a sense of security, but that confidence fades if the code never changes. Over time, friends, family, or shop techs may learn it, and what began as a safety measure becomes a hidden risk. Just like changing oil or brake fluid, refreshing your code should be part of your regular maintenance routine. It only takes a minute, and it ensures that the bike answers only to you. Sticking with the same digits for years invites trouble you will never see coming. The machine gives you the option to reset it without tools or a trip to the dealer. Use it. Make the code yours, update it by season or mileage, and store it where memory won't fail. Trust comes from attention, not assumption. Security isn't about fear, it's about respect. Changing a code means controlling your own trust. Every reset cleans the slate between you and your machine. Riders who take ownership of small details never lose control over the larger story their bike tells. Security fades faster than you think when it's left on autopilot. The next lesson dives into protection, not for pride, but for endurance. Number 13. Transport mode saves more than power. Every long-distance rider who hauls their bike knows the risk of a dead battery after a trip. The flashing lights that guard against theft can drain power while the bike sits strapped on a trailer or in a truck bed. That is why transport mode exists. It keeps the security system armed but silences the motion sensors so the lights stay off. It is one of those quiet features that most riders never learn until they need it. Activating it takes less than a minute and prevents hours of frustration when the bike refuses to start after a long haul. For touring riders who travel across states, this small habit protects the battery and your mood in one move. Forget it once, and you will never forget again. Every long haul asks one question: how well do you know stillness? The best riders travel light, not because they must, but because they understand weight steel's spirit. Efficiency isn't mechanical, it's emotional. It's knowing what matters most survives the journey. A machine's loyalty is measured by how well you let it rest. The one explores the balance between readiness and restraint. Number 12. Mercy in the heat cutoff. Every touring rider knows the pain of sitting in summer traffic while the engine cooks your legs. Older bikes roasted riders without mercy, but newer machines carry a system that quietly protects both metal and man. When the engine temperature climbs too high, the rear cylinder stops firing at idle, letting the motor cool without shutting down completely. The sound changes, and some riders panic, thinking the bike has stumbled or lost power. It has not. It is working to survive. That pulse you hear is the machine catching its breath. The feature may feel unnatural to those who grew up on carbureted beasts, but it saves oil, fuel, and patience when the pavement radiates heat. Turn it off if you prefer full roar in cooler weather, but respect what it was built for. Mercy, not weakness, keeps an engine alive on long, slow crawls. Heat exposes weakness faster than time ever could. What follows shows how mercy and mechanics meet when survival depends on patience. Number 11. Cruise is control, not comfort. Many old-school riders still scoff at cruise control, calling it a feature for car drivers, not bikers. But the truth is, on a long highway stretch, it becomes a lesson in endurance and precision. Cruise control does not take away control. It refines it. It keeps speed steady through headwinds and grades, reduces wrist fatigue, and lets a rider focus on balance, mirrors, and traffic rather than constant throttle correction. When used correctly, it extends stamina on cross-country runs where small mistakes can grow into big problems. Some even forget how much smoother the throttle response feels when the system maintains it instead of muscle memory. It is not a surrender. It is discipline written in motion. Your command, maintained with mechanical loyalty mile after mile. Long miles reveal what discipline really means. The next reflection explores how focus, not force, defines mastery behind the bars. Number 10. Shutdown rituals matter. Every veteran rider knows that how you shut a machine down matters just as much as how you start it. Ending a ride should be deliberate, not rushed. The correct sequence, flipping the run switch first, then turning the ignition, lets the engine stop cleanly without electrical shock or unburned fuel cycling through. This habit prevents arcs at the contacts, saves switch life, and protects the wiring harness from unnecessary stress. It is the kind of discipline older riders learned by feel, long before dashboards glowed. The bike remembers how it is treated. Doing this right keeps the machine's heart steady for years, while neglecting it invites electrical ghosts that show up as random warning lights and weak starts. Ritual builds reliability, and reliability builds pride, the kind earned in garages, not sold on showroom floors. Every shutdown writes the final line of your ride's story. The lesson that follows reveals how that ending determines the next beginning. If uncovering Harley's hidden past opened your eyes, subscribe and stay with us. The next truth runs deeper, and real riders like you deserve to hear it first. Number 9. The price of a name. There is pride in owning a machine built with American steel and legacy, but that pride sometimes carries a hidden cost. Every bolt, gasket, and washer stamped with the company's name carries a price that goes far beyond the material it is made of. The markup is not just for parts, it is for the culture around them. Riders pay for belonging, for keeping their machines authentic, and for staying true to the story told in chrome and thunder. Some veterans quietly replace non-critical parts with plain hardware store versions, saving hundreds while never compromising safety. The truth is, a steel bolt does not know which brand it serves. It holds just the same. Paying more is about preserving the name, not improving the ride. Still, for many, that name is worth it. It is part of the code, part of the loyalty. Pride has a price, even when it hides beneath a layer of polish. The secret ahead shows how vanity costs more than performance ever will. Number 8. The cost of convenience. Many riders bring their bikes to the dealership for everything from tire changes to software updates. It feels convenient. Clean shop floors, friendly service, factory-trained mechanics. But what most riders overlook is how deeply that convenience is priced in. Dealership labor rates can reach over $150 an hour, and small tasks are often billed at the same rate as complex repairs. Add branded fluids, cleaning fees, and inspection surcharges, and the total climbs far beyond what the work truly costs. Older riders who still wrench at home know the difference. A $200 job done in the driveway often matches the same results. The dealer network offers comfort and warranty safety, but that safety costs loyalty every time you swipe your card. Pride in knowing your machine, how to service, grease, and tighten it, has a value no invoice lists. Ease is never free. It collects interest from every rider eventually. The next insight looks at how comfort slowly becomes the most expensive addiction. Number 7. The financing trap. The shine of new chrome under showroom lights can cloud a man's judgment faster than the rumble of an engine. Dealers know this well. They guide you to the financing desk with practiced ease, where pride becomes paperwork and freedom turns into a signature. For many riders, the monthly payment starts as a manageable trade for the dream, until insurance, service plans, and accessories double the total before the first ride home. The bike remains yours in spirit, but the bank's on paper. Real freedom means knowing when to walk away from a deal that feels too sweet. Sometimes the smartest rider isn't the one who buys new, but the one who buys right. The open road feels different when you own it outright, not when you're chasing payments that outlast your tires. Ownership begins with emotion, but ends with arithmetic. The truth that follows uncovers how pride turns into debt faster than speed ever could. Number 6. Beauty that punishes. There's a point where craftsmanship and comfort start to pull in opposite directions, and few riders feel that more than those who own fully dressed tourers. The weight that once promised stability and status can turn punishing in parking lots, gas stations, and long slogs through traffic. What looks majestic on the open highway becomes a wrestling match at walking speed. The truth is, not every rider wants to admit that beauty can wear them down. Chrome, fairings, and luggage racks add pounds faster than they add practicality. The reward is presence, commanding, iconic, but the toll is fatigue and risk when balance slips. Knowing where pride ends and practicality begins is part of being a seasoned rider. It's not about giving up muscle, it's about conserving it for the road that matters. Strength is only noble when it serves balance. The next revelation digs into the beauty that demands endurance and what happens when you run out of it. Number 5. Brakes that fool the eye. Every rider loves the look of polished rotors and thick calipers gleaming through a wheel's spokes. They speak of power, of precision, of control. But appearance can mislead. Some aftermarket or stylized brake components sacrifice stopping power for style, trading performance for polish. What matters most is bite and feel, the way the lever pulls, the balance between front and rear, and how the bike behaves under panic braking. The best braking system does not need to shout. It works quietly, confidently, and consistently in every condition. Many Harley riders upgrade exhausts before brakes, forgetting that true power is not just how fast you move, but how quickly you can stop. Real safety comes from well-bled lines, true rotors, and properly matched pads. The shine may impress at the bar, but it is grip that earns respect on the road. Confidence fades fastest when it's untested. The following insight shows how control and illusion share the same polished surface. Number 4. When suspension speaks. A well-tuned suspension rarely gets praise, yet it defines how a bike feels under you. It carries your weight, absorbs the road's punishment, and keeps your tires where they belong, on the pavement. Riders often neglect it because it does its job silently, until one day it doesn't. When dampers wear or preload drifts, every bump feels sharper, every turn looser. The machine starts to wander, and what once felt solid now feels vague. Pride turns to frustration because comfort and control vanish slowly, almost unnoticeably. Proper suspension tuning is not a luxury. It's respect for both rider and machine. Replacing worn shocks or adjusting preload for your weight brings back that planted, confident glide Harley riders love. It's invisible work that delivers visible peace. Quiet systems speak in motion, not in noise. The next truth explores the hidden weight riders feel long before they notice it. Number 3. Hidden weight, hidden trouble. Hard luggage looks like freedom, room for gear, tools, and everything a long ride demands. But what most riders overlook is how much it changes the bike beneath them. Load it unevenly, and the frame starts to talk back. Corners feel wider, stops grow longer, and a once balanced machine begins to lean heavy to one side. Add a passenger, and the stress doubles. The center of gravity rises, and what used to glide now wobbles under pressure. Many shrug it off, blaming wind or tires, but the truth sits inside those saddlebags. Proper loading is an art, and ignoring it wears suspension and tires faster than miles ever could. You can polish chrome for hours, but balance is the real sign of care. Every pound behind the axle changes how the road feels beneath you. Ride long enough and you'll feel every one of them. Every mile tells a story of discipline and denial. What's coming ahead pulls back the curtain on a rhythm that never truly stops. Number 2. Habit weighs more than steel. Every bolt-on part, every chrome accent, every tune and tweak tells a story, but none of them shape the ride as much as habit. The way you clutch, shift, and brake becomes the bike's real programming. Riders blame suspension, fuel maps, and tires for what's often muscle memory steering them wrong. A bike will always mirror its owner, for better or worse. Lazy cornering, rough braking, or skipping maintenance becomes the unseen modification that no wrench can undo. The road forgives skill, but punishes routine mistakes repeated over time. You can rebuild engines and upgrade shocks, but training your own reflexes takes more grit. The best riders are not the fastest. They are the ones humble enough to unlearn bad habits. Every ride writes another line in that script. The question is whether you are improving it or just repeating it. The machine learns from you more than you learn from it. The final lesson ties every secret together, ending where legacy begins. Number 1. The badge is a mirror. Every Harley carries the same script across its tank, but what that name means depends on the rider staring back at it. For some, it stands for rebellion. For others, legacy. It can mean freedom, pride, or even burden. The badge reflects what you bring to it: your discipline, your care, your miles, and your mistakes. Too many riders chase the image and forget the soul that built it. Owning one of these machines isn't about showing the world you made it. It's about proving you still can. The company forged its mark in fire and struggle, but that reflection only shines if you maintain it with the same grit. A Harley doesn't make a rider proud. How you ride, maintain, and respect it does. The badge never lies. It just shows you the truth you've built behind the bars. Roads end, but reflections don't. What remains after the engine cools is the truth you carried all along. Harley built its name on freedom, but freedom only means something when you know the truth behind it. Every secret in this list comes down to one thing: respect. Respect for the road, the ride, and the riders who still keep these machines alive when the marketing fades. If this opened your eyes, hit that like button, subscribe for the next ride, and drop your story below. Tell us, what's the one lesson Harley taught you the hard way? Real riders share the truth, not the brochure. Ride safe, ride smart, and keep the legend honest.